We're live. Welcome. Welcome, everybody. Megan, how are you?
I'm doing good, and welcome back
Yes,
to
indeed.
another episode of Transatlantic Takedown. We were scheduled to do the show tomorrow, but Derek has other commitments that he has to take care of, so we are doing this a day early on this lovely, sunny Saturday afternoon. Um,
Sunny over there, is it, Megan? Yeah.
it's quite sunny over here now.
Good for you.
Before
Yeah.
we get before we get into the craziness of SmackDown yesterday, we're going to touch on AEW's Dynasty
Yeah.
because their pay per view is tomorrow. And although I've been kind of in and out with their show for the last few weeks, I always tune into their pay per views because you never know how crazy the spots are going to be.
Yeah.
They're going
Yeah.
to
Well,
be.
they're kind of killing it this year with the pay-per-views. I've seen a couple of those. I don't, as I've said before here, I'm not staying up to speed on the weekly shows and things, so it kind of passes me by a little bit, and it's something I want to, address going forward. But
Yes.
we have a graphic. We'll just see if this comes up clearly here of some of I think this is the full match card for tomorrow night,
Yes.
um,
Yes.
Vancouver. And
Yes. Um, you know, look, let's start from the bottom right side, and we'll just work our way up to the main event. So we
mhm,
have Alex Windsor versus Marina Shafir. Um, I I don't think it's for a title. They're just looking to beat each other up, which
yeah,
I'm down for it because I like watching Marina fight, and I like watching Alex fight. And although the men that they are affiliated with will be also fighting tomorrow,
hmm,
um, I look forward to this match. I didn't know about Marina too much prior to her coming to AEW. Uh, I will say this though, I'm glad that the whole her and Rhonda thing was a one up. I'm glad.
yeah,
I'm glad she has not come back. They said she didn't sign with AEW. I said honestly, I think it would have been a bad business move. She have said nothing but not so nice things about wrestling. And
well,
you're going to sign her to another wrestling company? It doesn't quite make sense to me.
yeah. There was stuff circulating that she did it just as a kind of a fuck you to WWE. I'm not sure. Like, I'm sure she
She
got
said
bags
that.
of money for appearing,
She said
but
that. She said that, but it's like, does TKO care, ma'am? Because you're mad with TKO not only because of WWE, but because of UFC.
yeah,
Ronda, they did not care. They did not care. They did not bat an eye seeing you there. Um, I think that was probably the one thing that both WWE and AEW fans could agree on, and that was we did not want to see her there.
yeah.
Um,
She's back doing her stuff anyway with Gina Carano soon. So
yes, which
yeah,
I think Gina's going to win, but we'll see. We'll see.
very good.
Um, so next we have the Casino Gauntlet match to find out who is going to be the new TNT champion after Kyle Fletcher had to relinquish his title due to an injury.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I'm sure you're going to have everybody from Champa to Claudio
Everybody they can fit
to
in.
Orange, Khan, pretty much everybody who will kind of fall under as mid card will
Yeah.
be a part of that match. Hey, girl, hey.
Welcome. Thank you for joining us.
So I am definitely looking forward to seeing that match. Of course, I'm biased. I would like to see Orange win.
Yeah.
Um, or I would like to see someone from the Hurt Syndicate win.
Probably a
Sheldon,
great possibility of that too.
Bobby, someone like that. So I will be looking forward to that as well. Chris Jericho, he has his first match. It's been a couple of months. Of course, we thought he would have popped up at WrestleMania, but instead he has a match
Yeah.
against Ricochet, and he brought back
His
his
list.
old character. Yes, the list.
Yes.
So I know Chris Jericho is probably kicking himself. He really wanted to come back to WWE. Tony was not going to let him out of his contract.
Do you think so? Do you think he was kind of that way?
Absolutely. I
Yeah.
think Chris Jericho wanted to come back. He wanted to come back. Um, we could see it. He was starting to work out. You
He looks
know,
in fantastic shape
he
now.
do. He looks in really good shape.
Yeah.
And
Like
just the fact that you had John Cena retiring, you had AJ Styles retiring, you had Goldberg come back, you had Brock Lesnar come back.
yeah.
I think it was a matter of seeing a lot of old faces, like CM Punk, like different people who was around the last time he was there, and just being back in his, what I would still consider his home,
Mhm.
WWE. I absolutely do think that Chris Jericho wanted to come back, but now that we know that he has uh, resigned to AEW, a new multi-year deal,
Yeah.
I'm sure the money was pretty nice. I'm
I
sure
would
the money
imagine
was
so.
nice. Yeah. So
It probably means he won't get any kind of a farewell tour further down the line with WWE. Was he mid 50s now? So
yeah. Uh, well, I don't know if it was the money aspects that convinced him to stay in AEW. I don't know if it was a matter of, sorry, Chris, we just don't have room for you here.
yeah.
We're trying to build up a lot of the younger people.
Are they?
You know, I mean, I feel like they are. I feel like
Yeah.
they are, but at the same time, it's like, you have Trick, who's in his early 30s. You have Oba, who's in his 20s. You have J-Bon, who's in his 20s. All three of them is going to be in WrestleMania. They've only been called up just a few short months ago.
Yeah.
But at the same time, you still have to take care of your older wrestlers like the Randys, like the Romans, the CM Punks, the Codys, the guys who are 40 plus. You have to take care of them. They're still in the business, and they still sell tickets, and
True.
they still have a large fan base who is going to wonder, where is my favorite wrestler, if you decide to take them off TV for a couple of months.
Speaking of fans, though, and I'm not a fan of Ricochet, who Jericho's taken on. So,
Yes. Well, um, you know, there's no excuse for what Ricochet said,
mm,
but people have said worse. People have said worse,
yeah,
and they're still being reminded of that to this day. So even if they're gone, even if they even if they have went to the land of beyond, they are still being reminded of the things that they have said.
true.
Ricochet will continue to be reminded of the things that he said.
Yeah,
But
he's just not a likable dude. So I feel anyway personally,
now,
But,
now, people ain't have no issues with him when he was in WWE. He was quiet. You
mm,
know, he was the high riser. He was the one that did all the really cool flips and had a really nice highlight reel.
yeah,
But he's taking on this character as a heel. And before I get into other heels that is going to be on that card who have said some not so nice things, MJF,
oh
he still
yeah,
continue to
yeah,
say some not so nice things. Um, it's just a part of being a heel. So, he apologized to
Well,
the lady that he made the comment
yeah,
on. It kind of annoys me that someone had to tell him to apologize to her. That should have been a given, but he did apologize. We cannot take that away, but we can also
yeah.
expect he's probably going to say some more.
I I think though, I think the art of being a heel in modern day is kind of lost on some people too, because well, that's a conversation for another time. I think people might be a little bit too sensitive in, in terms of what heels actually say nowadays, compared to like years ago what they got away with. And that was the whole point of being a heel, getting incredible heat and stuff like that. But anyway,
Absolutely.
that
Yeah,
is something we could go into in more detail at another stage for sure.
absolutely. Well, uh, for someone who I've considered to be an extremely great heel, this is my way of segueing into the next match.
Uh
You
huh.
have FTR
Yes.
versus Cope.
Agent
Cope.
Christian.
Cope. And Cage, or
Mm-hmm.
Edge Christian as we both know it. I kind of hope that they take the titles at this point. At this point, I hope so. I don't
Yeah.
know if it's true. Please don't quote me on this. This is alleged, but I'm assuming that Adam's career is wrapping up this year.
Wow. Again.
So, I mean, he's been in AEW for a few years now,
Uh huh.
and he has suffered two major injuries that have caused him to sit down for a little while. So I
Yeah.
guess those injuries have reminded him, you're not you're not the Edge from
He has young
2000,
kids too.
you know. Yeah, but he got fragile bones, is
Yeah.
what I'm saying. So, I would like to see him walk away with at least being able to say, I've had the tag team championships one last time with my best friend in AEW. I can retire happily. I feel like Christian, he'll be around for a few more years. I don't see him leaving anytime soon. But I do feel like Edge is
Yeah.
getting ready to wrap it up.
Christian still looks to be in amazing shape,
Yeah.
also. So I think he could go for another few years easily.
Well, I don't know if this is true, but seeing as how he has to play a father figure to a
Hmm.
lot of these fatherless wrestlers, and he's clapping all of their mothers, it probably keeps him young. You know,
That's true. Yeah.
probably keeps him young. He definitely said that if they was to win the titles, he is going to sleep with Stokely's mama. So that should be quite interesting to watch. I'm looking
Yeah.
forward to that. Hey, Brandon, thanks for joining us.
Yeah.
Thanks for joining us. So now we have the Young Bucks versus Okada and Japanese Beyonce Takeshka. Um, well, you know how I feel about Takeshka. I honestly hope that he blacks out and just beat Okada's ass during this match. Honestly, he's been messing with Takeshka for months now. I'm tired of it. Um, Young Bucks don't even have to do anything. In fact, Takeshka could just walk out of the match and just let Okada get jumped.
Yeah.
I would be here for it,
I need
honestly.
to I need to I need to catch up on some of that stuff.
Yes, yes, there is this budding feud between these two. They absolutely hate each other. Um, but yes, I would definitely love to see uh, that happen. We
Yeah.
need that match to happen. Stop putting
Okay.
them in tag matches. They hate each other. Just let them fight it out one good time, or two, or three. Because
They
sometimes
might save that for All In at London later this year. That I'll be at anyway.
well, then they need
Yeah.
to. They need
Yeah.
to. And I don't want it to be just a one-up match. I want it to be a feud. I want it to be quite a few matches between them
Mm-hmm.
two. I think it's long overdue
Okay.
between them two. Um, then we have the AEW Women's World Championship, Tekla versus Jamie Hayter. Um,
Yeah. Just
I don't see Tekla losing the title.
another fine example of the female wrestlers that AEW have at their disposal. Though I think.
Yeah, they definitely have world class wrestlers
Yeah.
in their women's division. It's unfortunate that they only get in two matches. It's unfortunate. You have a TBS champion in Willow
Definitely.
Nightingale.
Yeah.
You could have her in the match. You have Lena Cross and Megan Bain as your tag team champions. They could have a match as well. So,
And it's
but
funny you mention all those names, and all of those ladies are at WrestleCon next week. They're, which is amazing. I've seen them advertised, and I think it's fantastic. AEW have a lot of their wrestlers there that weekend over the 4 days. So it's great.
yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Um, but as I mentioned before, that it's a problem within both companies.
Yeah,
Like I can't pick one over the other. It's a problem within both companies. Yeah.
for sure.
And it's just like Mimi said, but I can't.
They could
I
probably benefit from a female only pay per view similar to Evolution, something like that.
and look how long it took for us to get the second one.
Hmm.
You know, look how long it took. Now I distinctly remember that when a certain CEO was coming to AEW, things was going to change within the women's division,
Yeah.
and for the most part, it did. However, it seems like it, it it seems like they always start off with the right message, which is we understand that our women are good, they're great, they could probably fight better than the men. We're gonna put them in more matches. We asked for more titles. We got the tag team titles. But it's just not, it's like they'll give us the titles to kind of pacify us, but you're not really sitting there and trying to figure out how can we showcase the women more.
But
You're
it's
not
nearly
doing it.
just tokenism then, isn't it? Like it's just, oh, we'll give you the titles, we'll tick a few boxes, but they're not actually giving them the time that they deserve. Now it has improved. It has improved in recent years compared to what it was back in the day, but there's always room for more improvement.
And it's the same thing with WWE.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
know,
And
four
even
matches.
a lot of
Yeah.
indie stuff too, though, Megan. It's a lot. It happens a lot in the indies also. I think.
Mm, mm, I don't know. I
Yeah, it
mean,
depends on the promotion.
I could say it definitely depends on the promotion,
Yeah.
absolutely. But you know, either way, I'm looking forward to this match. I'm about 99% sure Tekla is walking away with the title, um, and Jamie's just gonna have to wait a little longer.
Mm-hmm.
The next match we have is Andrade versus Darby Allen.
Yeah.
Um,
How do you see that one going?
I already know Darby is going to put his body on the line for this match. So
always does, though.
I'm looking forward to it. You know,
Yeah.
I always have like this little inside joke between who is going to bleed first between Darby and John, seeing as how they both are bleeders. They
Yeah.
like bleeding in their matches. Um, but
He's surely a guy, though, Darby Allen, that his career is not going to be seriously long, or much longer, because of the, what he puts his body through all the time.
yeah, well, you know, one can only pray. One can
Mm.
only pray that he continues to have a successful career without suffering from any real injuries that could um, prevent him from having that lengthy career or, you know, affect his health outside
Yeah,
of the wrestler's
definitely.
ring. So, you know, but Darby is definitely one of my favorite AEW wrestlers. I like watching him. I like watching his matches.
No,
Like
he is. He's
I'm
he's
never
cool.
bored watching him. Um, then we have John Moxley and Will Ospreay for the AEW Continental Championship. I'm gonna be honest with you. I really don't know who's going to take this. I don't. Um,
It's
if John
yeah,
retains, it'll probably be by the skin of his teeth because I feel like Will is ready to take that title off of him.
and two totally different styles. Also, it'll be very interesting. Like Will Ospreay, I always enjoy his matches.
Hmm.
Just that, like you were saying about Darby Allen, I just think Will Ospreay, um, that high flying kind of stuff he does, and I just I just find him fantastic to watch. It's like a throwback to some of the guys in the past, that would have loved watching the high flyers through the years. And
Yeah.
yeah, it's always a pleasure.
Will is definitely one of those wrestlers that I'm glad that he chose AEW over WWE simply because I have seen so many wrestlers currently, Julia,
Hmm.
Mariah May, Blake Monroe, um, who have who have seemingly diluted their wrestling styles because they're
Yeah,
going against other wrestlers who don't necessarily have the same wrestling background as them. And I feel like if Will would have went, they would have expected that from him. I've seen a lot of his matches not only in AEW but when he would wrestle in Japan,
yeah,
and I said to myself they would have never allowed him to do half of that stuff
yeah,
in
yeah. That's
WWE.
true.
So,
Sometimes it can be, uh, more detrimental, I guess, to their career to go to WWE, and even though it's always seen as the place up on the hill, the big platform, whatever. It's not always the best.
it's what Ricochet said.
Yeah,
This is what Ricochet said, and a lot of people got mad with him. According to our favorite websites, a lot of people in WWE got mad with him because of that. But it's his right to say. We know what WWE requires of their wrestlers. We know
mm-hmm.
what they allow them to do. And with AEW, some people might feel like it's more reckless, but it's just a different type of wrestling style. I wouldn't
Yeah,
say it's more reckless in AEW. However, I have seen some shit in AEW that I probably, even at my grown age, will never recover from. You know,
yeah,
especially
yeah.
in their pay per views.
Definitely with
But
Swerve. I remember there last year, Swerve Strickland and
that
um,
was nothing. That was
Moxley and
nothing.
everything.
That was nothing compared to the MJF and Hangman match
Uh huh.
when MJF stuck a syringe
Oh yeah, yeah.
in
Jesus.
Hangman's cheeks, and it went
Yeah,
through. And it went through.
yeah. It's nasty.
So, but it doesn't stop me from watching it. Like I know what I'm getting when I watch AEW, so I'm prepared. But there's just some things that you kind of miss when it comes down to wrestling that you used to get in ECW and
Yeah, there
GCW.
is a massive market for even like death matches, all those types of things, and
Yeah.
I think they incorporate some aspects of that into some of their matches. Some of the ECW, it's like a throwback to that also, and that always had such a cult following, as we know,
Yeah.
and you know that's what attracts a lot of people to it.
Yeah. I mean, um I went to an indie show, Circle 6 last year.
Yes,
Got to
yeah,
see my first death match in person. It will make a believer out of you. It will
hmm
definitely make you reevaluate the folks who say wrestling is fake, because
yes,
the
yes,
things that you
indeed.
see in person is not fake. And people are really walking array, holding their limbs in place.
And what would shock you even more is if you saw what they get paid for their night of doing that, which would
Absolutely.
be sweet fuck
Absolutely.
all. Like,
Absolutely.
yeah.
But when you are in it for the game
hmm
and your love for the game,
Exactly.
sometimes you just see past that. But of course, uh, the show is going to wrap up, so we're talking 5, 6 hours later. We finally will get to the main event match, which is the Devil
Yes.
MJF versus the God of Pro Wrestling Kenny Omega for the AEW World Championship. Now, I know that MJF had the title for a small period of time.
hmm
Hangman took it off of Samoa Joe. MJF returned, ended up taking the title off of Samoa Joe. Um, Now he has it, and of course, Kenny is back. Kenny haven't held the title in several years,
Yeah.
and right now it will probably be very rewarding if Kenny was to walk away with the title. I don't know. It's very
Yeah.
hard to say. I feel like, in my personal opinion, I feel like MJF is going to hang on to that title for a little while.
He's really he's really hot right now, I guess you could say, but I still don't think it'll do him any real harm if he loses, like given the stature of Kenny Omega and everything and the
I
history of
want
him,
Kenny to win. I want Kenny to win.
Yeah.
I want Kenny to win. I want him to take that title off of this scumbag. Like, I want everything to be right in the world of wrestling, with Kenny leading AEW to glory as the champion. Um, but it's like you said, right now MJF is on fire, and as much as we hate to love him, we love to hate him, and
Do you reckon Kenny is kind of nearing coming towards the end of his career?
I will hope not. They keep making mention of his illness, so
hmm
I will hope that that's not the case. Um, but you know, we're getting up there in age, so it
Yeah.
might be time for the folks of our age bracket to kind of look into where do we go from here.
True.
You know,
That's it. But look, I think overall it's going to be a very interesting pay per view, and then we of course we have a few short months before they have their big one over here, so a lot of things will be set up, from coming out of this, no doubt. But
yeah.
what time is that at again over there? I can't see with the graphic, but
I think it will start roughly about It starts at 8.
Oh, 8.
So,
Yeah, so that'll go on till about 5 in the morning then. So,
oh yes, taking naps. Um, load
yeah,
up on your energy drinks. You
brilliant
know,
stuff.
but you know how AEW do it.
Well,
You
that's it. They give the money's worth, I guess. When you
Yeah,
buy a ticket for that. Brilliant
absolutely.
stuff.